Good day everybody, Rebel44 is here, and well, in this video I wanted to actually go into a tiny little bit of Space Engineers. And just to start it off, let's say that over the last few months I have been designing basically a fleet. And basically the main idea was that I would just design a few ships. Basically I started with this ship, the Corvette, and then later on I have moved on to the actual frigate. At the beginning, that frigate, I called it a destroyer. However, I've noticed that, well, technically it was kind of difficult to build something smaller and still call it a frigate. After a while I actually realized that, you know, frigates and destroyers are kind of very similar to each other, so I decided to actually make the destroyer, which will be fairly similar, however at the same time a little bit different. And then weirdly enough I created basically a battle cruiser or a heavy cruiser, and yeah, and then I designed this thing. However, let's start on from the first vehicle in this entire section, which is the actual carrier Delta fighter. This fighter, this is actually one of the first vehicles that I had designed in this entire game. However, I did a lot of improvements for this vehicle. Mainly, I actually added a lot, and by saying a lot, I mean a lot of the actual iron thrusters. As you can see, the actual white ones are the new ones, and the grey ones are the old ones. So I haven't really done that many, you know, that much painting in this whole thing. In addition, sadly, this vehicle only has got a, 2 Gatling turrets. However, any kind of modification can be done, as there's still space for additional weaponry, such as missile launchers, if one would want to have them. The next vehicle is the troop transport, or the shuttle. Again, with this vehicle I also went through a set amount of variants. At the beginning this vehicle had 2 thrusters at the back, 2 hydrogen thrusters. However, I've noticed that the actual fuel consumption with the 2 large hydrogen thrusters was very high, and it was very impossible to actually make this thing fly for a long amount of time. This thing has also got proper landing gear. However, there's a specific function in which this thing can actually be docked. So first of all, you need to turn on the inertia dampeners so that the actual vehicle doesn't crash or, you know, create any clang. And second of all, well, we just release the actual landing gear and you land. Pretty simple. There's also a connector underneath, so if you want to dock with something, you can easily do it. And I'm gonna show the actual insides of this shuttle. As you can see, it is pressurized, which is pretty amazing. Whoops, that didn't go well. And there's enough space for 4 people and 1 pilot. So yep, that's that. Right, so let's move on to the next vehicle. The next vehicle will be the actual ARDUS gunship. And the main idea behind it was that after designing the Corvette, I had decided to make something smaller. And actually, well, technically the main idea was that this I decided to actually change this into a frigate, and this would have been a destroyer. So I wanted to make this gunship into a Corvette. However, I had realized that this ship is kind of too small to be a Corvette, and technically, if you actually look into it, it doesn't have the proper functionality of a Corvette, as it only has enough space for 1 single door, which isn't really an amazing thing. And now thinking about it, if it is only a gunship, I could even take away the gravity generator, and maybe even the survival kit, because this is only a single-use vehicle that will be easily destroyed, so I don't really see a massive point of having any sort of survival kit on this vehicle. However, it is still there, and it does fly pretty amazing. So yeah, its maneuverability is really good. It is equipped with 2 Gatling turrets, and 2 rocket launchers. Not the best pick, however, as for a gunship, it is the kind of weaponry that could be used for a massive strike assaults. And technically the main idea behind this was to actually have few gunships coming at a target. Could be an actual bigger target, and those vehicles could be actually used like that. For example, the same way as the motorboats or torpedo boats have been used during World War II. And the next vehicle, the actual, well, the grandfather or the actual original design of this entire fleet, well, more or less original, because there was another ship that had designed before and I just randomly decided to include into that fleet. Yeah, we got the Corvette. The Corvette actually has 2 ARDUS entries. It is equipped with 2 assault turrets and, hold on, how many is that? Yep, just 4 Gatling turrets. Nothing too amazing, however, as for a Corvette, I believe that this is the kind of weaponry that could be used. And this kind of weaponry is also set up in a way that could be used in a, well, good way. So let's go inside, take a look what's going on in there. So basically, this ship, this is like the main ship on which I actually based the design for most of the ships later on. So basically, at the back you got the engineering section, which can be locked away. You got the actual jump drive, the hydrogen tanks, and I'm pretty sure somewhere here was a nuclear reactor. However, I'm not really sure. Okay, I've totally forgotten what it was. The nuclear reactor is actually over here. Okay, never mind. So it is actually in the medical sort of section, or medical and cargo section. As you can see, this vehicle has only got 1 cryo chamber and 2 beds, so it's not really perfectly designed. However, well, obviously 1 person going to the cryo chamber in case of an emergency, and the other person, well, it's gotta be an emergency, okay? So it is what it is. That's all I can say. You know, you got a few cargo containers over here. Everything is trying to be tacked. I try to basically tack everything together to make sure that there's as little space being used as possible. And then the actual living section, and it is a real small section. You got 2 beds, a toilet and a bathroom, a desk and a kitchen. And that's pretty much it. Obviously the air vents and all the lights and all the actual additional stuff on the ship is being hidden underneath. So for example, you got the gravity generator, the nuclear reactor, lights, the air vents, and, well, a conveyor indeed. Again, you got the actual access way, the actual entryway over here. And over here is my most favorite design of the bridge. So basically you got this, you got the railing over here, and you got 2 control seats over here. And as you can see, there's also an LCD screen which actually points out which way you're actually flying forward, which is also really useful in a interesting way. And as you can see, this ship actually tends to maneuver pretty well. Well, after all, it's a Corvette, so it should be capable of doing all this sort of stuff. So that was the Corvette. As you can see, it's not gonna be one of the most steady ships. It doesn't have a CIC, but it is a Corvette after all, so it is supposed to be one of the cheaper ships of the line. And then we are moving on to the frigate, one of the first proper warships that should be used in the actual combat. So basically a Corvette should be more like a delegation ship or maybe like a patrol craft. This is a frigate. This is one of the ships that could be actually used in combat. It has got 4 assault turrets, and in addition it has got 6 Gatling turrets as well. And basically I also try to balance the actual weapon amount, well, the actual weapon count on each vehicle. So basically Corvettes will have this many weapons, or maybe they could actually have 1 weapon replaced with another weapon. and you know, the frigates would have a little bit more, and then destroyers would also have a little bit more, and then the battle cruiser, well, I mean, battle cruiser is a battle cruiser, so we're gonna put everything on it, and you know, there and that and that and that and all the other stuff like that. So this is a frigate. It actually is one of the ships that started to have a little bit of the heavy armor plating, which is a really useful thing. However, most of the heavy armor plating is located around the CIC, and the main reason for that is that because when I was doing a lot of testings, I have found out that the CIC was being destroyed really fast, and I wanted the CIC to be one of the most protected areas on the ship. Luckily, I actually managed to make it happen, and yeah, this ship, to me, this is one of my favorite ships. I'm not gonna lie. The actual cockpit is basically the same sort of cockpit as you would have on the Corvette, and you got the assault turrets being located in a position so one can fire over the other one. Same with the Gatling turrets. We also got the Gatling turrets at the back to make sure that the ship would be a little bit more protected from the back. This ship also is the first ship that uses the additional iron thrusters and decoys, which are also really useful in combat. In addition, this thing can also fly in the atmosphere, just like the Corvette and the Destroyer, under a you know, smaller amount of cargo in it. However, this ship has also got the atmospheric thrusters, which will also help it with flying in the atmosphere, which is one of the great things about it. So let's go inside and take a look at it. And again, we're gonna go from the back of the ship to take a look at it. So the actual the back of the ship is really similar, or not even the back, the actual main structure of the ship is really similar to the Corvette. Basically, this is the upscaled Corvette that has been upscaled to the size of a frigate. However, in the engineering now, we have got a jump drive underneath, as always. We've got the air vent, 2 hydrogen engines, and 2 nuclear reactors instead of 1 like you had on the actual Corvette. Also, the batteries are visible now. However, this is the actual engineering section. Now let's move on to the living quarters, or well, the actual medical bay. So again, we only got a survival kit, and we got a few cargo containers over here. There should be more of the cargo containers on the ship next to the actual weapons. We have also got a refinery and an assembler somewhere on the ship, as far as I know. Again, the gravity generator, 4 cryopods, which is actually a lot better than you had on the Corvette, and you actually got a medical station, which is also another thing. That's amazing. To actually save up the space, I decided to actually put some more batteries on the actual roofing or the ceiling of the ship, which is also one of the useful things. Again, over here, this is one of the things that I don't really enjoy, because right next to the actual sleeping quarters, you got the you know, backward hydrogen thrusters, which are supposed to be slowing down the ship. It's not one of the best things. However, I realized that having additional hydrogen thrusters would be really useful, and I didn't want to waste any space on the ship. So over here we've got the sleeping area, again 4 beds, and this time we've got 4 beds and 4 cryo chambers, which is really useful. We've also got a tiny space for the kitchen, and we've got a bathroom, and this time we actually got the door to the bathroom to actually provide our people, our pilots, to have some sort of a privacy, whatever they're doing in there. And then this is the main corridor that allows you to enter the ship and leave the ship from the both sides. The main passage of the conveyors is basically mainly I just used the hydrogen tanks, the small hydrogen tanks, and the oxygen tanks. Again, you got the air vent underneath the greater catwalks, and then you go for the passage here, you go through the door, and you have got the CIC. One of the actual weak points of the CIC is the actual fact that, well, the actual hydrogen tanks, and that's the thing I'm kind of worried about, because if that thing is gonna be hit in there, it's the CIC is very likely to actually explode. However, against any assault cannons, this won't really happen for a set amount of time, and if you're gonna be hit with an artillery cannon, then, well, I mean, it sounds like you're picking wrong enemies over there, you know? So this is the CIC, and we've got a button here. What does it do? Oh, we got the autopilot. So I forgot to say, most of the ships have actually got an autopilot. And I think right now the autopilot is set for the point near the Earth. Because I was doing actually, I was simulating battles, which actually looked pretty amazing. I did battles where you had destroyers, frigates, and everybody was facing off each other. Everything was happening within the gravity. So whenever the ship got destroyed, it basically would be falling down, and I will be actually assessing the damage later on. Again, yeah, the ship can fly within the gravity as well. And we got the bridge. And again, it looks the same as the bridge on the Corvette. Comparing this ship to the Corvette, it is a lot slower when it comes to actual acceleration. However, it is still not too bad. It is still one of the ships that I would really enjoy flying. It is still fairly balanced, that's what I'm trying to say. And the thing I love about this bridge is the fact that there's a lot of visibility on the ship. And we can see whatever is going on around. Alright, so let's put the ship back, because we still need to move on to the other ships that we are talking about over here. So the next ship, which I would love to cover, is the actual ARDUS destroyer. And this ship is really amazing. I mean, you got 6 assault turrets, you got, I think, 8 Gatling turrets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, well, you got 6 Gatling turrets. Either way, it is still pretty amazing. So technically, the only difference between this ship and the frigate is the actual amount of assault turrets and the amount of the heavy armor on it. And due to the actual heavy armor being implemented on the ship, there is also, I've decided to add some more thrusters to it, and overall it's a little bit bigger. So let's take a look at the actual insides, because this ship is going to look a little bit different. So it has got 2 access ways, one of them is actually open. So this, I had the idea to actually use this sort of door in case there'll be some sort of, like, you know, marine attack, or basically some sort of like a army drop off. So what you do, you just jump off, and then there you go. We're falling so fast because of the actual gravity generators on each one of the ships, and that's not pretty amazing. So let's go inside of the ship. Let's see what can we deal with. So let's go to the actual engineering section first. So the engineering section is a little bit smaller than on the actual frigate. However, that is mainly due to the fact that I totally forgotten about certain bits on the frigate, and I wanted to save more space as well. So the next, and however, it is pretty much the same. The next thing that we got over here is, well, pretty much the same thing again. The same medical area. Same with the batteries as well. Basically, the back of the ship is almost a copy of the frigate. Again, you got 4 cryo chambers and 1 medical station, and actually, instead of having a survival kit, you have got a medical bay, which is one of the cooler things. The further you go, now this is where the ship is changing a lot. So this on the actual frigate, that used to be the crew quarters. However, on this ship, it's also crew quarters, but they're a lot bigger. So again, you got the toilet over here, you got the table over here, you got the kitchen over here. However, now you got 2 options. You can either go upstairs and actually go to the bedding area, or you can actually go downstairs where you have got the exit area, which is one of the first exits, and then you got the armory on the sides. And the further you go on the ship, you gonna get into like a small corridor. The purpose of this corridor was to actually just extend the ship a little bit longer, and yeah, I think that was the main purpose of it, to be honest. And then when you go ahead, you have got the CIC, and the CIC, as you can see, seems to be actually a lot safer due to the fact that there are no hydrogen tanks around. And that's a real cool thing, because now the CIC is actually more sturdy. Again, the further you go, this is gonna be the actual air vent or the airlock. So you got another exit over here that is on the side of the ship. And let me close this thing because I like things being neat. Okay, so, and then again you got the bridge. In the first design of the ship, there used to be a stairway over here, and you could actually stand on top of the ship on the helm, and you could actually watch what's going on. However, I've noticed in the battle simulations that this ship, the actual main bridge of the ship would have been destroyed really quickly due to that thing, so I decided to actually add some heavy armor in the middle to make it a little bit more sturdy. So let's take a look how maneuverable the ship is. And yeah, as you can see, it is a little bit less fast, the actual acceleration is a little bit worse. However, it is still decently maneuverable. I'm guessing that maybe I could add on additional few gyroscopes to it to make sure that it would actually work well. However, I don't think it is that necessary, to be honest. Okay, so moving on to the next ship. Alright, so moving on to one of my favorite ships, or my most successful ships that I had designed. Over here we got the Orion battle cruiser, or the Orion class battle cruiser. Why am I calling it a battle cruiser? The main reason is because it is really fast, it is capable of fighting a massive amount of ships, and I believe that in that sort of fleet, I believe that I could design a battleship or a dreadnought. And technically, I was designing a battleship or a dreadnought, but then I got a little bit tired of doing it, so I decided to stop doing it for a while. However, this ship has got a massive amount of artillery turrets, and actually in the entire fleet, this ship is the first ship that will be actually using the artillery turrets, due to the fact that they do deal a massive amount of damage. Basically, I was thinking that the artillery turrets would be placed on the cruisers, mainly the heavy cruisers and the battle cruisers. The light cruisers, yeah, they could have maybe 2 or 3 artillery turrets. I still don't know how would I do it. However, I could do it somehow. Let's take a look at the main design. So I didn't even manage to count how many artillery turrets the ship's got. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got 4. Okay, so we've got 8 artillery turrets, and then we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 assault turrets. And then when it comes to the Gatling turrets, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 Gatling turrets. And yeah, as you can see, this ship is really capable of dealing a lot of damage. And in addition, another amazing thing about the ship is the fact that it actually has got its own hangar bay. And the actual hangar takes a massive amount of space on the ship. Yeah, that was actually one of the main reasons why I decided to make this ship big. Was mainly because I wanted to add a hangar bay. And actually mainly the main shape of the ship is done due to the hangar bay, actually. So let's get inside of the ship and take a look at what it actually looks like. So we're gonna go through the front door. Actually, with the ship, I don't even know where to start because it has so many bits in it. So let's just start from the actual entrance. So the bottom floor, we have got the actual hangar bay, and this is the original variant of the Delta fighter, which I was designing. And actually, no, it is a little bit modified, I think. Yeah, it is a little bit modified. However, it is still one of the older designs of the Delta fighter. And you can see a massive hangar bay over here. What I could do in the future, I could make some improvements to the actual Delta fighter so that I could perhaps add the connector at the top of the fighter and make sure that, you know, I could just, you know, go up in a hangar and just connect right away. I'm pretty sure that would be one of the better things to do to save up more space. Yeah, so we've got a massive hangar bay over here, and then the further we go on the ship, we can see that this ship actually has a lot of stairs. So let's go over here first, and this is the actual flight bridge, or actually I don't even know what this is. This is more like a viewport, and from here you can actually open up the hangar bay, which is pretty cool, I think. And the further you go, you can also go over here, for example, and from here you can also see the fighter taking off. The same thing is done on the other side of the hangar. And then the further we go, okay, we're gonna go back to where we were. So this is the main section where all the way split. So if you go down over here, we've got the sleeping quarters, and we also got the toilets and the shower. Pretty amazing. We also got the hydrogen tank over here, just in case the you know, the sleeping crew would like to see some fireworks happening right after they wake up. And then we're gonna go upstairs. Both the actual stairways, they lead into the same direction, which is the main commons area. So from here you got access to many different areas. So you got the CIC, you got the engineering, you got the captain's quarters, and you got the, well, commons section basically. So let's first of all, let's go to the engineering section and let's see what it is all about. So as you can see, we have got a decent amount of energy producing mechanisms. So we've got 6 hydrogen engines, we got 1 large reactor over here, and underneath, well, over that wall over here, we've got plenty of gyroscopes. One of the bad things about that is that if this ship is gonna be hit several times in this one spot, it's going to lose a lot of the gyroscopes, or mainly most of them. However, one of the other good things about it is that this section is actually being protected by 3 layers of heavy armor. Yeah, so I think that's that. The sad thing about the ship is that I did not add enough jump drives. So technically this thing can also only jump at a distance of 600 kilometers at a time. The next area we can go to is the actual CIC. So the CIC is actually the most protected area on the ship. In some areas it has triple or quadra layered heavy armor plates, which is pretty amazing. I love the design of this. And then the further we go, we have got the captain's quarters over here. Nothing too big, however, well, the captain has got his own quarters for the first time in my designs. And then we've got the survival kits over here. Now thinking about it, did I add a medical? Actually, yeah, I did add the medical section, never mind. Over here we have got the crew quarters. So basically we got a kitchen. Actually, we've got 2 kitchens. We've got a dispenser for drinks, and we have got tables. We've got a TV over here, so you can sit on the sofa and watch TV if you would like to. We've got some planters, we've got some cargo containers, And yeah, that's basically the crew quarters over here. Am I missing anything? No, I don't think so. So then you actually go through this corridor over here. You know, you got the views on the sides, and then you actually got the medical quarters over here. So basically 8 cryo chambers, 2 medical stations, 1 medical bay, and then you got the survival kits on the back over there, just in case the medical bay will be destroyed, as this area of the ship is actually a weakness. I mean, this area of the ship has a weakness, and the weakness is basically in this neck part, due to the fact that it has a lot of hydrogen engines at the bottom, so it is not that well armored. However, one of the great things about the ship is the fact that this bridge is doubly protected. So you can actually use the hangar door to add additional protection during a battle. And due to the fact that it is a windowed hangar door, you can still see through the actual hangar. So you can actually see through the cover. And the last but not the least thing about the ship is that it has got artillery. So basically, is this moving? It looks like it's moving. I don't like it when it's moving. Either way, yeah, the ship has got artillery. So it has got 5 artillery cannons, you know, pointed at the front. And you also have got a camera that is hidden behind several layers of glass, which isn't that good. However, it is what it is. It's still good enough. So let's fire a single shot to see how it is. Boom. Amazing. Obviously, the artillery would be destroyed fairly quickly during a battle, so maybe further modifications could be done where the artillery would be taken away and maybe some different weapon would be added. Maybe some additional armor. That would be good. Or maybe just another artillery turret underneath. I think that would be also really good. So this is the this is the actual Osiris battle cruiser, one of my favorite ships of the line. And then we have got the, I totally forgot what's the name of the ship. What is the name of the ship? Let's see, what's the name of the ship? Does it even have an antenna? It has an antenna, but it doesn't show the name. Well, either way, this is a refinery cargo refueling sort of a ship. And the main purpose of that was, the main purpose of actually designing the ship was the idea that, you know, during a battle, during a fight, during a war, you know, you're gonna have the battleships, you're gonna have the ships of the line fighting. However, you also are going to need some sort of a logistics sort of ships. And this is one of them, or this is like one of the main logistic ships. So this ship can actually refuel ships, it can actually provide ships with ammunition or materials to fix them. It can actually have additional equipment for the miners, and you know, it can actually refine and produce things on the spot, which is also one of the great things. It is not armored in any heavy way. It is mainly designed of one. It is basically having one layer of light armor on itself. Whoop! Wait, can we actually get in there? Thank you. So let's see how it is. Yeah. So as you can see, this ship is really simple. It's basically a massive box. So first of all, when you walk in, you got the jump drive, you got the commons area. Then you go downstairs, for example, and you have got the sleeping quarters. Sleeping quarters are really basic. Let's go upstairs though, and let's take a look what's going on there. You got the survival kit, you got the cryo chambers, you got the lab, and you got the med bay, and you got a survival kit. And then you can go upstairs again. You got the bathroom and the shower, and then again you got the bathroom and the shower. Then you go upstairs again, and you got the main flight bridge. Now let's check how maneuverable the ship is. It is not maneuverable at all. However, I still like it. Also, a lot of the actual parts of the ship are exposed. That is mainly due to the fact that this ship is not meant to be, you know, fighting in any combat situation. This ship is mainly designed to provide ships with supplies, and mainly I believe that this ship should be heavily escorted by other ships. And let's jump to the... Actually, wait, hold on. This ship, in addition, I forgot to mention, this ship has also got some additional weaponry. However, the weaponry is mainly designed of the Gatling turret. So, yes, it has got 4 Gatling turrets on itself. Hell yeah. Okay, so now we've got 2 ships left. So this is the ferry, or basically the transport ferry. It is one of the ships that I was thinking that it would be a good idea to have a troop transport, right? However, I had decided that, you know, having a shuttle would be a better idea because you can actually dock it on ships. However, the actual troop ferry might be still useful due to the fact that you could still connect it to a different ship that has a jump drive, and you can jump with that ship. And, you know, this could be like a good invasion sort of vessel. It can also fly in the atmosphere, which is really good. Can we open this gate? Okay, yes we can. So this is the main, almost like a preparation area for the jump. Or, you know, like you're gonna land this thing, and then that gate will open, and then you're gonna get all the troops just coming out. So let's take a look. You know, you got the ramp over here. Another idea was that I could design something that could actually carry vehicles inside. Something, for example, as the I can't remember the actual name of it now. It was the almost like a troop transport in Star Wars, not the LAT, but the first sort of Star Destroyer, or the Star Destroyer looked like ship that has been used by the Grand Republic. It was mainly a transport. Sadly, I can't remember the name of it. Damn it. Yeah. So let's get inside. Let's take a look. So over here again, and basically the lower deck is designed for the troops. You have got a lot of armories and all the other stuff like that, like all the lockers and stuff. And then you go up the ladder. And basically it is a very, very long way up. And then you jump, you got 1 cryo chamber, you got 2, well, basically got 5 cryo chambers. And then, what you have got over here is a survival kit. And the further you go, over here, for example, you have got the main bridge. It does not have a CIC, this ship is not meant to fight, basically. However, it is capable of transporting troops. And I believe that it could do a decent job at it, to be honest. So, yeah, not bad. Okay, so this is that. And actually, the last thing on the ship is the, well, basically the sleeping quarters. However, I think that this ship, I don't think that this ship would be a good idea to have in the ranks, due to the fact that it would be easily replaced by the shuttles and other vehicles, unless I would actually make the ship bigger and create additional space for the landing vehicles, like basically land vehicles that could come out of the ship. And the last but not the least is the one of my, also not the first ships that I had designed, but it is one of the ships that I decided to add into the fleet within the last second. And that ship is the... Actually, the ship doesn't even have a name. This is how new it is. It is actually meant to be a prototype for a new cruiser. And I actually wanted to use it for one of the series of Surviving Mars. However, well, I'm kind of finished the entire series by now. I just need to actually edit it. I don't know when I will do it, but I'll do it someday. However, this is it. You got plenty of thrusters. The ship doesn't seem to be too safe to look like. its main size is actually the size of a frigate, and as I mentioned before, it has you know, the specifics of a light cruiser perhaps. That's mainly due to the fact that it does have 2 artillery turrets at the front and 2 assault turrets. So basically, if I could perhaps make this ship a little bit bigger, I could turn it into a light cruiser. One of the things that this ship has got is a basically a hangar bay. The only problem about it though is the fact that I have no idea how to enter it, the actual hangar bay. So we're gonna go for the middle entrance. As you can see, that was my first attempt at making the air vents, or basically yeah, basically an airlock. Yeah. And then you go through here, and let's go to the hangar bay. So basically, as you can see, this ship is very visually you know, maintained, as in it has a lot of bits that are standing out within the ship. Also, I'm gonna utilize because the ship, I don't think the ship is heavily finished, to be honest. So we got the first variant of the Delta fighter over here, and this, as you can see, it does not look too good, to be honest. Like, it is really slow. It's more like a shuttle when it comes to maneuverability, or like a hovercraft. But this is that, and it has 2 entrances. I mean, it has got 2 connectors just in case, depending on what kind of vehicles will be landing there. And then when you actually go inside over here, you can see all of the equipment that is being used over here. So due to the fact that this ship is not being heavily protected, it can be easily destroyed within minutes or even seconds. So you have got plenty of hydrogen tanks, which is not really too good. You also got oxygen tanks somewhere, and on both sides you got the showers and the toilets, plenty of beds. However, everything is kind of standing out, so I don't know what to think of it, to be honest. However, what I could do, you also got 2 survival kits on the ship as well. When you go upstairs, you get access to the bridge, and this is technically the whole ship. You also got 1 exit on the back. That is mainly the exit for the bridge. And technically this ship is fairly maneuverable for its size. And funny enough, it is a size of a frigate. And by saying very maneuverable, I mean it's not really that maneuverable. But what I'm guessing is that I could either turn the ship into a frigate, or I could turn it into a cruiser, make it a little bit longer, and, you know, add on additional protection to it, maybe change some of the interiors. But basically what I'm thinking of is keeping this sort of design and changing it into something else. I think that would do well. But yeah. But anyways, if you had enjoyed this video at all, please like it, share, subscribe my channel. I'll be definitely uploading more content when it comes to actual ship developments, and maybe someday I would actually add them on the Steam Workshop, or even better, well, all of us could actually create some sort of a PvP sort of battle scenario. I was also thinking that maybe I could design some of those ships in 3D and maybe put them on the CG trader where I could actually sell them, and some people, maybe one of you, could buy some of those models. And that is only me hoping about it though, because it does take a lot of time, and technically, if you think about it, within Space Engineers it takes about, I don't know, a week to maybe design a very detailed ship. However, if you do it in 3D, if you actually design a ship, it will take about a month to design something like this. It also depends on the detailing. But anyways, I hope you all had enjoyed this, and I wish you all the best day. Get something nice to eat. Again, I would heavily recommend a chicken kebab. They are all really good, trust me. Or chicken kebab wrap with extra chili sauce. Yeah. Anyways, thank you for watching. Rebel44, signing out.